Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm LIANA for LIANAvibes.com, and in this video we're going to talk about reactive abuse. What is it and why does this happen? Before I begin, please like and subscribe so we can vibe on the constant, and now let's get into the video. Number 1. What is reactive abuse? Reactive abuse is the reaction after persistent and consistent neglect, violence, or abuse. The victim of neglect, violence, or abuse first absorbs these occurrences, usually not willfully fighting back. Later, because of their emotional and/or physical needs being chronically dismissed and insulted, this arises energy from within the victim. The victim lashes out. Number 2. Who usually suffers from reactive abuse? Anybody. However, you'll find a common theme that the victim is usually an anxious, preoccupied attachment style and/or is codependent. The reason these categories tend to have reactive abuse is because they're typically afraid to speak their needs, wants, or emotions. They are afraid of being vulnerable about their emotions because they have a very weak sense of self. It's very hard for these individuals to identify self because self is drowning in a lot of wounding, especially around abandonment. Since their identity comes from the dependency or closeness of a person, they are at risk, especially if their partner is narcissistic or dismissive-avoidant, to be taken advantage of. Since dismissive avoidants or narcissists feed off these qualities of a codependent or anxious preoccupied person, it's essentially predatory behavior. Dismissive avoidants are emotionally unavailable. Narcissists lack empathy, and these qualities an anxious, preoccupied, or codependent need. Number 3, is reactive abuse a one-time thing or persistent? Here's where a typical pattern of reactive abuse consists of. Victim expresses a need. The abuser hears the need. Victim believes they are understood and things will change. Abuser does not follow through. Victim builds frustration and resentment. Victim may ask again about the issue. Abuser again does not follow through. Victim builds more frustration and resentment. Victim then lashes out in the next argument, no matter how big or small the issue is. The abuser uses this as evidence of how crazy the victim is. Victim is then gaslighted. Victim is shamed. Victim becomes needy. And then we circle back to the beginning. Victim expresses a need. Short answer, this abuse cycle is chronic and consistent. Number 4, is raising one's voice abuse? It can and cannot be. When people have intense energies of anger, it can be expressed in many forms. Raising one's voice, going silent, becoming physically violent, storming out and running away, etc. Raising one's voice is only okay if A. You didn't enter the argument yelling. B. The words you use is neither an attack on one's character or safety. And ideally C. You can pull yourself back immediately to calm down, take a breather, and apologize. For example, if an argument intensifies and no one calls a time out because they are flooded, a term used in the Gottman method, raising one's voice may escalate. Yelling may happen. Be careful though, because once you enter this sphere, both people will yell, and not many things can de-escalate that until something really hurtful, cutting, or petty is said. It's really about the words you're using. If you're yelling but somehow communicating that you still love the person, just damn f***ing upset right now, versus something like, I wish you were dead, you're so f***ing stupid, I hate you. This is throwing daggers. This is trying to injure the person mentally and emotionally. Don't do that. Remember, our brains don't have a delete button. Do not say something that you will apologize for a week from now, months from now, or even years from now. Especially if said with anger, it will forever change your relationship. and affect your partner's mind consciously and unconsciously. Number 5, reactive abuse is a common response to dismissive avoidance and narcissists. As stated before, dismissive avoidants are emotionally unavailable and distant. Narcissists lack empathy. Both use you having emotions as a weapon against you because they see you carrying the emotional weight and resources of the relationship. They don't need to bring anything to the table because you do that work for them. And it's also the reason why you're chronically fatigued and empty, because you're engaging in the sunk cost fallacy, where the amount of time, energy, money, and effort that you've invested keeps you investing even with no win, just for a drop of something back. It may never come, and if the drop does come, it's breadcrumbing just enough to get you to stay. Gaslighting is a tool used by both, but especially by narcissists. When you express your needs because of the chronic lack from their end, they will gaslight you into being labeled the crazy one after their persistent and consistent lack of bringing any emotional depth to the table. The only crazy thing about you is staying involved with someone who blames you for wanting emotional depth in a relationship. If you give in, you are a human doll at that point, just flesh to enjoy. You deserve so much better. This is why emotional depth is so vital in relationships. Have you ever experienced reactive abuse? If so, let me know in the comment section below. And that's all for today's video. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope it was both insightful and informative. Please like, subscribe, and share, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Bye for now. Waiting daylight, get back. No